So we're coming into the winter months and it's getting very, very cold. So I thought I'd run you through my sort of ground bait mixes that I use for commercial silvers in the winter and F1s and carp through the colder months. So, you know, we've had a frost year last night, so it's starting to get cold. It's only going to get colder. So I thought, why not just running through the mixes that I use for the winter. So straight into it, F1 Dark, original Thatchers. Now this is like my go-to mix for winter commercial silverfish fishing. If skimmers are the target, even roach in commercials in winter love fish meal ground bait. So the F1 Dark gives me the sort of sweetness of the ground bait. It's a very, very sweet smelling ground bait. And then the Thatchers just gives me that little bit more of a fish meal content. And the crushed pellets, there's a few more crushed pellets and fish meal in the Thatchers. So that gives me the sort of food content and the feed. And then the F1 is sort of the sweetness. Now I normally mix this 50-50. The F1 Dark and Thatchers Original mixed together is a beautiful mix. It's a dark mix, but it's got little flecks of gold, which the Thatchers Original gives you in the mix. So they're brilliant mixed together. I normally mix them 50-50, but if it starts getting really cold, like I said, we've had a frost today. If we carry on having frosts, then I'll cut the Thatchers out a bit and I'll probably go 70% F1 Dark to 30% Thatchers, just to sort of give me that chance to catch fish, especially when it goes really, really cold. There is the Thatchers Dark. You know, if you don't like those little flecks of colour that I think are really, really good, I think it gives the fish something to pick out in the clear water. There is the Thatchers Dark. You can go Thatchers Dark to F1 Dark. You know, it's entirely up to you. If I go to a venue where it's quite coloured and it's had a lot of rain, a lot of water's sort of washed into the lake and it's quite coloured, then I'll probably use the F1 Original and the Thatchers Original just to give me sort of that lighter mix, but in the same sort of quantities. But that's like sort of my commercial silvers go-to ground baits. The only other ground baits that I tend to use through the winter months is the Super Crush Expander. Now, I love the Super Crush Expander on its own for sort of F1s and small carp. I think it's the best around for the winter. It mixes up very, very fluffy. Always leaves lots of little particles off in the water when you feed it. If you feed it little balls, it always leaves a lovely little trail down. If you feed it loose, it just leaves a lovely cloud through the water. I think that's a fantastic ground bait for F1s and small carp. Now, if I go somewhere where I'm looking to catch silvers and carp and F1s, so it's a sort of mixed fishery where I need to catch a bit of everything. I need to catch carp, F1s, silvers and everything. I'm not just targeting carp and F1s and silvers on their own. Then I'll do the Super Crush Expander with a bit of F1. And I think that's a fantastic mix there to target everything. And I normally mix that 50-50. And the same goes, if it's really, really cold, I'll cut the Crush Expander down a little bit. So I'll probably go 70% F1 and 30% Crush Expander. But that's basically an all-round mix to catch everything that swims. You know, your silvers, your F1s, your carp, everything. If I was just targeting F1s and carp, then it'd just be the Crush Expander on its own. And as I said, winter sort of silvers on commercials, the F1 and the Thatchers together is a deadly mix, I'm telling you now. The only other ground bait I use through the winter months that is different to them is if I was going to fish like a golden rod qualifier and I was going to Larford or I was going to Meadowlands or Barston or these places where they got a lot of bigger carp, then I still sort of fish the match method mix. I just think it's a brilliant ground bait for big carp. You know, all through the summer I use it. And if I'm targeting those bigger carp on feeders, like method feeders and stuff in the middle of the lake, I still prefer to have the match method mix, either in original or the dark, depending on the water clarity. But that is my go-to for sort of bigger fish on the commercials. And that's it really. It's literally like a couple of mixes that'll do me for all my commercial fishing through the winter months when it's cold. And you know, hopefully I get some good results on it. I've had some good results on it in the past. If you want to go out and try it, get out, give the mixes a go, and hopefully you'll catch a pile of fish as well.